This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Students and alumni are calling for reform in schools when it comes to racial inequality. I'm Stephanie Wade with that story just ahead.
The hearts of people have to change. They have to say to themselves, it's not worth taking the life of someone else.
How youth leaders are working for change as the city of Indianapolis sees its 100th homicide of the year.
We never are going to forget those that we've lost. But the other side of it is there have been people that have recovered, that have survived, and that can live to tell their story.
A story of hope and a symbol of inspiration for healthcare workers and family members fighting alongside patients diagnosed with COVID-19.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Imagine being on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic, having to battle the virus yourself and coming out on the other side.
Tonight, RTV6's Nicole Griffin is talking with a local nurse who is walking us through her journey from being diagnosed to now giving back to other patients.
A sign of hope and progress today outside of Franciscan Health. Staff members gathered to put these pinwheels in the ground. 293 were placed out, each one representing a patient with COVID-19 who has now recovered and has been discharged from the hospital.
This is a pandemic, and we're emergency nurses, and this is what we went to school for. This is what we were built for, and this is what we love to do.
Emily Kornprobst is a nurse in the ER at Franciscan Health.
We've been focusing on those COVID patients. Anxiety is a big one. With not being able to breathe, people get anxious, which makes their breathing worse.
In March, she was diagnosed with the coronavirus, forcing her to stay home to recover for 3 weeks.
Most severe symptom was the pain in my legs and my lower back.
But now she's back at work, where she joined her coworkers for this ceremony Thursday to honor the patient they have helped recover from the virus.
We never are going to forget those that we've lost. But the other side of it is there have been people that have recovered, that have survived, and that can live to tell their story.
Each of those patients represents a pinwheel. Each of those patients represents such heroic care given by our caregivers and physicians.
Franciscan Health's president and CEO says stories of recovery and the work being done inside these walls every day are important to share.
We've been in this pandemic for over 3 months, so this was a nice moment to pause and recognize that heroic care and life-saving work.
I feel very hopeful. I feel very blessed to have survived the virus and then to be able to give back.
While working back in the ER, Emily is also now helping some of the most critically ill patients by donating her plasma. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Well, Emily is one of 3 ER nurses we told you about back in May who contracted the virus and is now donating their plasma. Franciscan Health CEO is encouraging the community to continue wearing their masks when appropriate in public and keeping 6 feet between you and others to avoid another COVID-19 patient surge. Today, the Indiana State Department of Health has 15 new reported coronavirus deaths. So far, 2,304 Hoosiers have died from the virus. The state also confirms 584 new cases of COVID-19. That is the highest number of daily reported cases since late May. We're told a testing facility just got electronic reporting, and that may account for the rise in today's cases. Since the pandemic began, 41,438 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with the virus. More than 384,000 Hoosiers have been tested.
This video of a man being put in a chokehold and then arrested by Anderson police is leading to the city taking new steps to improve policing and transparency. A portion of the Saturday arrest of Spencer Nice was captured on video and shared on social media. The officer in the recording is seen using a chokehold to pull Nice to the ground. Nice is accused of resisting arrest. This happened just 2 days after the city of Anderson announced officers would not be allowed to use chokeholds to make an arrest or control a person in custody. The arresting officers are now on administrative leave, and an internal investigation is underway.
We support our police. We support the hard work that they have to do. We know that they're under a lot of stress often, that they often subject themselves to harm when they're out working for us. But at the same time, we also recognize that people can either make mistakes through negligence, they can make mistakes unintentionally, and sometimes they can make mistakes intentionally.
The mayor also said the city plans to reach out to community groups as a way to improve their community policing efforts. He says the city will move forward with purchasing body cameras for all officers and in-car cameras. The early days of protests on the streets of Indianapolis sometimes ended with tear gas and other weapons fired at demonstrators on the downtown streets. Now a court will decide whether those weapons violated the protesters' First Amendment rights. It's been 3 weeks since IMPD first used chemicals and projectiles to disperse the protests against police brutality. The ACLU of Indiana has filed a lawsuit on behalf of individual protesters and Indy 10 Black Lives Matter. The federal lawsuit says chemical irritants such as tear gas, rubber bullets, and batons were used against protesters on May 29th, 30th, and 31st. The ACLU says those weapons violated the protesters' First Amendment rights. When asked for comments, city leaders say they cannot comment on pending litigation.
Alumni are calling on their former school district to create an anti-racism reform in schools. RTV6's Stephanie Wade was in West Lafayette explaining why some field changes need to be made.
Today, a group of more than 1,400 alumni students from West Lafayette schools sent the superintendent this letter calling for sweeping reform when it comes to racial inequality in the classroom.
I had a kindergarten teacher tell my mom that I behaved better when my hair's braided and not woolly.
One thing you get as a black student is like your intelligence is questioned a lot.
Just a lot of microaggressions. You know, you talk white, you sound white, and I think we all knew it was happening. There just weren't enough of us, people of color, people of different races, to sit down and say, hey, like, this is not appropriate.
Just as the high school is under construction right now, some alumni from West Lafayette hope the district does some rebuilding of its own.
Teaching the actual history of America and the way it deals with race and how racism is a part of that is something that could really change generations in the future.
Among their requests are adopting a Black and people of color curriculum, employing more diverse educators and administrators.
The easiest one is diversity training. You guys do enough in-service trainings. I think you can include a couple hours on anti-racism and anti-bias.
Plus, ending the school's contract with the West Lafayette PD.
Police officers do not belong in schools. You know, they aren't trained to work with children, and that often leads to more trouble for black children or children of color because they're there just kind of policing their bodies instead of being actual help for the school.
Everyone deserves the right to education regardless of their skin color, and they deserve to be able to come to school and feel like they matter and are wanted to be there.
The group arguing it won't just make students of color feel more accepted, but allow other students to be more accepting moving forward.
And you think it's time that the schools address this?
Yes, we all think it's far past the time.
If we make a change here, there can be changes in every other school district.
Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
We did reach out to the West Lafayette Community School Corporation for comment. They say they have, quote, zero tolerance for racism and racial discrimination. We are committed to a well-rounded education for all and are proud of the opportunities that West Lafayette Schools affords its students. We also believe a climate that fosters constant improvement should work in concert with our ability to listen to the needs of all of our students, end quote. It continues to be a violent month in Indianapolis as the city records its 100th homicide of the year. We didn't see that number in 2019 until September.
But there are groups out there working and fighting for change. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum shows how one of them is focusing on the youth and helping to set them on a different path.
Discipline, mentorship, life skills, and fun. That's what Young Men Incorporated's Youth Empowerment Camp is all about. Leaders say it is one way to help prevent violence and set these young men up for a brighter future. In this quiet parking lot behind an Indianapolis church, character is being built and hope is being found. 50 young men between the ages of 8 and 17 are taking part in this summer program. It's a program that addresses ongoing violence in the community. Leaders say conversations today were especially hard as the city saw its 100th homicide.
And this is not where we want to be for a city.
Reverend Malachi Walker says that's not the path he wants for the city or these guys. So he teaches them conflict resolution. And he says sometimes all they need is to know someone cares.
They tend to get a mind change about what's really going on and who they really are, to where they believe that there are people out here that love them and care about them and want them to see them succeed in life.
Before I actually came to this camp, I was dealing with stuff outside that I know I couldn't handle. Here I had to learn how you can speak to people about your problems and they will listen to you.
Camps like this, it really teaches young men how to grow up, take control of their lives, how to make decisions that will be beneficial to them in the long run.
An impact he hopes lasts for years to come. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Thank you, Megan. Temperatures are actually up 2 degrees from last hour. Cloud cover influences the temperature, and since the clouds have lifted at least broken up over Marion County, we're at 85 right now. 37%, that's the relative humidity. The air is still dry. We're enjoying our break from the humidity. That wind is out of the north. Sun doesn't set until 9:16, by the way. Couple of showers, maybe a lightning bolt or two south and east then of Greensburg, just outside of the RTV6 viewing area. Want to show you a cold front generating more than just a couple of dots. There's a line of thunderstorms. Our chance will increase this weekend as the cold front pushes our way. Temperatures as we get through the evening hours will drop from 85 to about 75 during the evening hours. Here's your forecast. We'll be at 75 at 11 o'clock tonight. We'll call it partly cloudy. We'll focus on that weekend rain chance and the peak temperatures in my 7-day forecast as well coming up.
With the pandemic, the name of the game has been adaptation. Still ahead here, how one local group stepped up their process to continue to help women in Indiana give themselves an edge in the job application process.
Plus, the show must go on, even if it's at half capacity. Our Brad Brown gives us a look at the first weekend with bars hosting live music open for business. That's next on RTV6.
Bonus. DraftKings. Game on.
Hiring Hoosiers is helping.
Hiring Hoosiers.
Go ahead, Mark.
All right, sorry about that. Hiring Hoosiers is helping you get back to work as we work to rebound from the COVID-19 crisis. There's an ongoing effort to help unemployed Hoosiers connect with companies that are hiring.
RTV6's Lauren Casey can explain how a local organization is expanding their operations to help unemployed Hoosier women land one of those open jobs.
It creates a sense of community, and I really feel like they want to help me succeed.
Carmen Malone is a job seeker and has been since before the pandemic. With a background in business, clinical research, and customer service, she's been actively searching for her next career move. And she learned more about Dress for Success from a friend.
What Dress for Success has offered has really helped me. I believe that it has expanded my job search and even just my outlook on getting a particular job that I want.
Dress for Success serves more than 1,100 Hoosier women each year, providing workshops on topics like resume writing, navigating the hiring process, interviewing skills, and more. Their mission is to guide local women towards employment and eventually economic independence. But when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, social distancing orders not only put thousands of Hoosiers out of work, but forced Dress to Success to pivot.
When the stay-at-home executive order hit in March, like all the other nonprofits and businesses in the state, we had to shut our doors down. Now, this, of course, coincided with what now has come to be almost 500,000 Hoosiers who have lost their jobs. And what we found within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks was that we were servicing women not just in the Indianapolis metropolitan area, but we were serving women who were actually outside of Indianapolis.
Executive Director Julie Petter says now their mission is more important than ever. Dress for Success quickly began offering workshops virtually and added topics like phone interviews or Zoom interview skills.
And are you guys going to continue doing a lot of this virtually since you've found so much success with it?
The virtual offerings will not be something that will go away. We found, like I said, in a matter of just a few weeks, we were servicing the number of women that we expected to serve in all of 2020.
Not only did the virtual classes break barriers like transportation, the communication during this pandemic has helped women like Carmen remember that even though the unemployment rate is high, what she can bring to the table is still so important.
keep searching, get connected with an organization like Dress for Success, and I believe that a good job is waiting for us. I really do.
And Dress for Success indeed needs financial support to serve a growing client base, volunteers, and they still need donations of professional attire. For more info on how you can help and how you can take part in their virtual workshops, just click on this story at hiringhoosiers.com. Kevin.
Amanda, I'm going to show everyone something unusual here in just 1 second, but let's get the bullet points for your Father's Day weekend. Warmest day clearly will be Saturday. Temperatures will surge into the lower 90s. As we get to Sunday, most likely time for thunderstorms Father's Day afternoon into the evening. You'll notice more humidity on both days. Specific temperature Saturday afternoon would be the warmest so far this year. We've yet to hit 90 actually. And the chance for rain rather low through the day. It goes up a bit Saturday night, and then on Sunday, 87 with scattered thunderstorms. Let's zip to the south. This is hiding from you, but I'll find it just southeast of Edinburgh along I-65. That's what's unique. Most of us have gone 2 weeks without measurable rainfall, but there it is, nice little downpour. It's not covering much real estate. It won't last long, but it's an indication that times are changing. Tomorrow, chance for any rain less than 20%. We're still low Saturday. Sunday and Monday, the two more likely days for scattered thunderstorms. Tuesday, temperatures in the 80s with a 40% chance for thunderstorms. 85 by noon tomorrow, should touch 90 depending on cloud cover. That's the key player. More sunshine, more warmth. 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, dry. You'll begin to see a few green spots pop up. Those represent showers and an isolated thunderstorm during the heat of the day into the evening. Few and far between. Definitely don't change any of your plans. Temperatures from north to south on the warmest day Saturday, all at 90 or slightly above. And again, only a stray thunderstorm would cool you off briefly. Next week, the humidity will start to come back down. Rain chances will diminish after Monday's scattered thunderstorms. Temperatures back into the low 80s on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Among the last businesses to be reopening in Indiana are those with live entertainment like theaters and concert halls.
The shows will go on, but if you're ready for a night out, expect things to be quite a bit different inside. Brad Brown has a look.
For the past 3 months, stages all over the Hoosier State have been silenced. This weekend, the comeback tour begins.
Judging by ticket sales so far, we've already sold half the tickets for Saturday night. So people are ready to get out, and I think if we're doing it safely and doing it by the book, then we're going to be just fine.
The Hi-Fi in Fountain Square will be among the first to resume live concerts. Among the new COVID-19 protocols, masks are required for entry, touchless payments at the bar, and just 50% capacity. Only 200 tickets will be sold for these first concerts.
None of us had ever been through this before. There's no playbook for this, and we work with a lot of venues nationally too to take best practices and learn from everybody else what they're doing, venues that have already opened, and how to properly add all these new safety procedures and things like that, because seeing a show is going to be a little bit different.
For these small venues, any shows will be a much needed boost to a year that was pretty much wiped out by acts and tours canceling for the rest of 2020.
I think the experience from entering into the show is going to have a little bit different feeling, and it's something to get used to. I think we're like this for a while, so once fans get used to it, it'll be fine.
We just went from, trying to be as busy as we could possibly be to just cramming the brakes and flying through the windshield, and it's been insane.
At the historic Vogue Theater in Broad Ripple, next weekend will mark their first live event after a 14-week layoff. They've used the time to make updates inside for new social distancing protocols.
Just creating opportunities for everybody to spread out and feel safe, and I think that if and when things get back to normal, that extra space will benefit us down the road. But that's going to be a huge help to us in the short term.
The past 3 months have been a trial in simply surviving for small venues like these all over Indiana.
It's all going to boil down to the fans. If the fans don't buy tickets and come back, it doesn't matter who we have on the stage. It doesn't matter what we do.
There's just all these little moments that kind of happen throughout the night. I think that's going to come back immediately. I just might be wearing a mask while I'm doing it, and that's okay.
There's so many little wrinkles of the live aspect of a concert that you just can't get with a sterile live stream. And, you know, we hope that people still remember that, still love that, and I don't think any of us want to live in a world without that.
Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Well, bars and nightclubs can go full capacity in Phase 5 of the governor's Back on Track plan that's scheduled for July 4th. But each venue is on its own agenda as to what that will look like. Check websites and Facebook pages for information on a specific location. We'll be right back.
RTV6 Hiring Hoosiers partner.
Right now on RTV6, a look at how local first responders are trying to make sure you have what you need to stay safe against COVID-19. The Carmel Fire Department has been setting up information booths during the pandemic to hand out info on virus prevention and safety and answer questions. Today we caught up with them at Target, where they were giving out disposable masks and hand sanitizer. Organizers say when you're faced with something like a pandemic, it can be hard to figure out where to turn.
A lot of people don't know where to go or where to get the information, so if we can bring it to them, we're going to do so any way we can.
There will be additional booths in upcoming weeks. We'll be sure to let you know when and where once they're announced. Mark?
Oh, this week you can help people who may be unexpectedly struggling to put food on the table. RTV6 is partnering with Kroger to support Second Helpings. Now through Sunday, you can round up your grocery bill or select a donation amount of your choice when you check out at select Kroger locations.
Lights off.
Temperatures, they're going up to 90 degrees during the day tomorrow, a mixture of clouds and sunshine. As we mentioned, Saturday will be the warmest day of the week. Temperature at 92 for the afternoon high. Still, the chance of rain minimal. Better chance that we'll see, Mark and Amanda, rain and some thunderstorms Father's Day afternoon into Sunday night.
Thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Join us again for the news at 7.